Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have 5 reasons why English sucks, but more importantly, 5 ways in which you can overcome these difficulties. The first one I have for you today are the phrasal verbs. What is a phrasal verb, you may be wondering? A phrasal verb is when we have a verb and a preposition, and it has a very different meaning to just having the verb on its own. So for example, the verb take and the phrasal verb take up have very different meanings. So this often causes a lot of confusion for people. So most importantly, what can we do? The first thing I'd advise is not to panic and not to go crazy and try and memorize 500 phrasal verbs in a week. That is not the way to go about it. I advise taking it phrasal verb by phrasal verb, learning them one at a time. The other important thing is to use the context. This is very important. If you just try and look at the phrasal verb individually, you're going to have absolutely no idea on how it's been used. Look at the context or listen to the context it's been presented in. This is going to give you a lot of help, and even if you're still not quite sure, you can probably get the general gist from this. Okay, number 2, which is very, very difficult, and I'm so sorry about this, is the pronunciation in English, because often the way we write the words is not how we pronounce them. I'm sure many of you have discovered this. So how can you get around this? My advice is to do lots of listening. This is because it's better to hear the word before you see it written down. There are some great websites for doing this. One of those is Breaking News English. You have the audio with different speeds and different levels, and you also have the transcript so you can check your understanding after. For those of you who need it broken down even more, I would advise looking at a phonemic chart. There are many interactive phonemic charts online, and these will break down each individual sound for you so you can get a better idea of how different letters work together in words. The next thing we have are the irregular verbs. Now, I'm sure a lot of languages have these, so it's not something new, but they are a little bit of a pain. How can we learn them? Well, again, don't take a sheet of hundreds of irregular verbs and try and memorize them. It's not going to stick. Take it as it comes, and again, look out for irregulars in writing, in listening. Keep a note of them, and over time, you'll have a better understanding about which verbs are regular and which verbs are irregular. Another thing you can do to help you with this is to keep a diary. So every night or once a week, once a month, you can write about your day in detail, and obviously you're going to be using the past tense. This is going to help you with those past irregulars, and if you need to check, you always have the internet, so you don't even need to ask a teacher. Okay, on to number 4. The future. The future is terrifying in English for people because we have so many futures and it can get confusing. If you're someone who thinks that we only use will for the future, I would advise looking on a website such as the British Council or BBC English and basically just getting a better idea of the futures that we should be using. If you're someone who already knows this, but maybe you're still a little bit confused about when to use going to, when to use present continuous, again, maybe have a look at some worksheets online. The other thing you can do is try and make it personal to you. Here I have my diary, and in my diary I write down all of my planned events. So you could use a diary, for example, to help you make examples with present continuous for fixed future plans. So basically just try and personalize it for you. It's going to be much more enjoyable, and it's definitely going to stick better than just making any odd example. The last one I have for you is a bit strange, but it's speaking. A lot of people find that they still cannot speak after years and years and years, or they are afraid to speak, they're embarrassed to make mistakes. They then have this negative idea in their mind that speaking sucks, it's awful, I can't do it. My main piece of advice for this is to speak as much as possible. Now, before you say, Louise, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough opportunities to speak, let me give you some ideas, because if you really want to learn a language and you really want to improve your speaking, you will find time and you will find opportunities. So you can do a language exchange, for example. You can do that in person by meeting someone online through a Facebook page, for example. Or if you're not entirely comfortable with that, you could use a website such as italki, where you can meet people online and you can practice speaking with another person that wants to learn your language. So guys, those are 5 reasons why English sucks and some things you can do about it. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about those. I'm going to attach some links down in the description box so you can access any of the websites that I've mentioned. And that's all for me for today. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!